Are people gonna watch me? Hi. Okay, so now I've got two different cameras on. So if you want to see like a side angle, I'm on over at Facebook in our Moon Kitty Mix-Up group, as well as YouTube. And if you want a straight on, like right in front of me angle, you'll get that here on Instagram. This is literally my first attempt at a simultaneous live stream, but I figured St. Patrick's Day is the day to try it, right? So hi, everybody. It's nice to see you with us. This is kind of a surprise. So if you didn't know I was going to be doing that, that's because I did not know I was going to be doing this either. I just kind of like got inspired because somebody in our Moon Kitty Mix-Up group on Facebook asked a really, really good question. And it just kind of sparked inspiration. I was like, let's run with it, right? And hope that the luck of the Irish is on my side. So essentially the question was, and I'm not going to put it up on the screen because it's like a private group and I want to make sure everybody maintains their privacy in there, obviously. But it was a great question. And it was basically like, how do you even wear makeup with a mask? And I don't have any like shamrock masks. So I figured, you know, let's combine two questions, because another question I got asked is, how do you play up clashing colors? Sure, like let's do it both at the same time. So I'm gonna get ready for my physical therapy, and we're gonna do some pretty dramatic eye makeup at the same time. And I figured, since I'm gonna be doing this entire thing start to finish, might as well make it a get ready with me. So I can see that Just Wigging It is saying that she's having a screen issue. Is anybody else having a screen issue either over on YouTube, Facebook? Hi everybody, it's nice to see you guys. Or here on Instagram. Let me know, because I want to make sure that everybody can see me, because I've got some blemishes and everything, and we're going to be talking about all of that. Pores are a thing, they're in play. You're going to be able to see all of it. So while I'm just kind of okay, we've got confirmation that it seems to be working fine for most people, so cool. Maybe just wigging with it, maybe just leave and come back. Maybe that'll fix the issue. Sometimes it's just, you know, a matter of connection. So let me go ahead and tell you what I plan to do, like makeup wise with this. So general rule of thumb for me, at least, and of course, if you guys have other like expert tips that you've come up with over the last year or so about how to wear makeup and masks simultaneously, make sure that you comment with that, because we can all really use that information. I don't think that this is the end all be all of techniques, and I think we can all learn best when we learn together. So for my hot take on things, because the mask is covering up like all of this below my eyes, I use that opportunity to really do a lot with my eye makeup. And what I typically avoid is basically foundation. Like, I don't use foundation. I do use concealer, and I do use blurring primers. So that is really tip number one for me, as far as I'm concerned, is, you know, skip the foundation wherever the mask is going to be. Because if you're anything like me, I have polycystic ovary syndrome, so I'm like really acne prone. And so wherever the mask sits, I'm gonna break out, which is pretty reliable. Like, I have a N95 mask that I wear to the gym, and so it hits right here. Yeah. And then I have this one that I wear, you know, to less crowded environments where I'm not so worried. And that hits right here. So yeah, it is what it is. So what I like to do is use blurring primer, like right off the bat. So usually when I do my whole face, like when I'm doing my looks for you know, the live streams on Saturday nights, I typically use this Tatcha, the Liquid Silk Canvas primer, but it's not blurry enough for me to get away with not wearing foundation with it. So for today's use, we're going to be applying the Urban Decay Optical Illusion Complexion Primer. It is a blurring primer. It blurs the bejesus out of anything. Another one that's really good is the Professional from Benefit is very, very blurring. There are lots of really good blurring primers out in the market. The only thing I don't like about these blurring primers is that sometimes they can make my skin break out if I don't wash it off as soon as I get home. So just a little caveat there. But then again, I'm very, very prone to breaking out just in general. You know, I've had cystic acne ever since I was about 9, and I'm on spironolactone. So if any of my polycystic ovary syndrome sisters are watching, if you're on spironolactone, same here. And if you're trans and on spironolactone, same here. Aside from, you know, obviously I'm not trans, but a lot of us are on the same medication because what it does is it basically like blocks testosterone, so we don't get acne quite as bad. So if you suspect that you might have like hormonal acne issues, it might be worthwhile to get your hormones checked by a professional, because if they throw you on this, it can really help your skin like a lot. Like I would have like a huge beard of acne, no joke. Like it would be like all the way up my face and all over my chest and neck in particular if I didn't actually take this pill, because no amount of like topical treatment will really solve a problem like that if it's hormonal. So anyway, soapbox moment over. Okay, so let's see here. I've got this on, and it definitely has kind of like a slick feel to it. And a lot of blurring primers will feel like that. They will kind of make your skin feel a little bit more moisturized, but they'll also make it feel kind of like it's got like a, almost like a really smooth silicone kind of sensation to it, which makes for a smooth makeup application. Obviously, it helps blur pores a little bit, and that's what we're really going to take advantage here. I don't usually start in with the concealer because I want to do my eye makeup first. And today for our eye makeup, we're going to do some crazy stuff. I'm going to be wearing this beauty when I go to physical therapy. And this is our Mirabella in Tahitian Sunset. This is just a prototype. We will be launching the pre-sale for Mirabella once we're done with some of the initial pre-orders for the Anya. I don't want to overextend myself because that's when mistakes happen. So we're going to do it like one release at a time, just so we can keep it really well organized. But that's coming up soon. So I'm going to be wearing that. I've also got some eye makeup to play with that I'm very excited about. Let's see here. What do we got to play with? I have my little Nars Suede palette. I made a video about this on YouTube. I might use this for like some colors. I don't know. I like to keep it handy, or a neutral color palette handy whenever I do dramatic eye makeup, just in case I want a little bit more depth and definition. It is daytime, so I don't know how deep I want to go with that, but we'll see. I've also got, and this is thematically relevant, the Coloupop Just My Luck palette, which is super, super cute. Let's go ahead and check this one out. Hey, I love these colors. They're so happy and green. Thought that'd be really cute for St. Patrick's Day. Obviously, I'm probably gonna stay away from this like greeny gold shade because yikes. But oh, hi, Carmen. I'm glad that you like Mirabella. I think she's going to look super cute once I get all this green stuff on. We'll see how it goes. And then I've also got this in case I want to go real crazy with it, because I don't have a look planned out. I'm just going to play and see what happens. But this is one of my favorite greens. I love green eyeshadow, by the way, because I have green eyes and I really like making them pop. So this is actually a Pat McGrath palette. This is the eyeshadow quad, and the color is, does it even say? Blitz Astral Quad in Nocturnal Nirvana. And it's got blue packaging, but most of the shades, like look at how crazy that is. These colors in particular are really amazing together. Like I'm just gonna put them on my fingers so you can kind of see. What? Oh my gosh, they're color shifting, metallic, crazy sauce goodness. So I may break some of that out too, depending on what I'm feeling. I gotta take that off my fingers. Hey, where are my makeup wipes? Here we go. But yeah, those two colors are called Blitz Aquamarine and VR Emerald, and the VR Emerald in particular is outrageous. It's this one here that I'm wiggling. That is an outrageous color. It is so freaking beautiful. And if you're familiar with duochromes or, you know, some metallic sparkly shades, some have like a white base and some have a black base. The VR Emerald definitely has kind of like a black base to it. I've also got plenty of coffee on hand, so I will be good there. So because I know I might go kind of dramatic, I am going to do my eye makeup first, because we're basically just going to do an eye look with a little bit of concealer where it counts. And then I might use a little bit of my Nars tinted moisturizer on my forehead, just because it's got that SPF goodness going on, and I like to protect my forehead because it's going to be exposed. But before we do all that, I'm going to throw on some eyeshadow primer because we're going in deep. So this is the Primer Potion in Eden. And I always have to give credit to Robert Welsh for this one, because I did not even know how great this particular primer was until he said something about it in one of his videos, because he does these videos where he does like ghost stories. And it's really cool watching him. He's very, very gifted. And I agree completely that people probably should not use concealer for their primer, particularly if they have really oily eyelids. I have like super dry skin like everywhere except my eyelids. My eyelids are like crazy oily. And so if I don't use some kind of primer, I end up with like that greasy line right here where the crease of my eyelid is. Oh, I see that somebody in our probably in our Moon Kitty group, because it's coming up private, said, ooh, just finished work at 5:45 p.m. in the UK. Hi, UK. This is fab. Might crack open a G&T and take part, as I usually miss the late night live session. So that's awesome. I'm glad this is working out. Yeah, Nigel is English, as you guys know, and I am English, Irish, and I believe German, but mostly Irish. My great grandfather was like right off the boat. He had jet black hair until the day he died in his 80s and was like a chain smoker. The man was a marvel. But yeah, my hair obviously not jet black, and I don't have the full head of it. I wish I would have gotten those genes, then I could brag about that, but then I wouldn't have this career. So, you know, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So let's see, what do I want to start with? I think I'm going to start with this Just My Luck palette, because I like the idea that it's kind of budget friendly and it's literally Luck of the Irish themed. So it's kind of like a must. So let's see what we've got here. We've got a whole bunch of different colors. I mean, obviously this one here, the chances are looks like a matte. I'm not a huge fan of Colourpop's matte shades, but their shimmery shades are great. This one has no pressed glitter in it, thank goodness, because some of their palettes have a lot of pressed glitter. Like I have their Sailor Moon palette, just because I really like Sailor Moon when I was younger. And while some of the colors are really great, I don't really care for pressed glitter in a lot of these kinds of palettes, because they can break up really easily and then just get everywhere. And plus, you know, if the glitter is really gritty, I don't necessarily want to use it in my eye area. So then what the heck's the point of putting it in an eyeshadow palette, you know? But anyway, we've got this Kiss My Hoss, I have to imagine is kind of like avocado. And this is one of those pinpoint glitter shades. We've got the So, I believe, or 50/50. I don't know. I have terrible vision when it comes to small print, but that looks like it's going to be kind of a shimmer shade. We've got Big Banks, which is a shimmer shade. Mary Jane, which is kind of like a, not quite a chartreuse, but very close to like a chartreuse gold color. All of You, that's cute. And that is like a metallic olive color. Act Natural, Mo Samba, and Charmed, they're all mattes, it looks like. No, it looks like this Mo Samba color might actually be another one of those like shimmery pinpoint glitter ones. We'll see when I play with it. And this is going to be fun, because when you do your eye makeup first, like if you get a lot of fallout, whatever, just keep makeup wipes or something handy, take care of it, and then you can do the rest. And the great thing about wearing the mask is you don't even have to be that meticulous about cleaning up down here, because it's going to be all covered. So I think for this one, I'm going to try playing around with these mattes. And I'm gonna go with this Chances Are, which is like a really nice light color. And hi to everybody on Instagram who is waving at me. Hi, everybody. So let me go ahead and put some of this on. This is that Chances Are color up here in the corner. It's the lightest color in this palette. It's kind of like a mint green. And I do have their mint palette. And I also like Colourpop has a couple of palettes that are very, very green. Like I have their The Child palette, which also has a lot of very similar colors. And after a while, I kind of like lost interest in Colourpop because it seemed like a lot of the palettes were becoming very similar. I don't know if any of you guys are like Colourpop collectors, but I hear that that's like a common experience. They get kind of burnt out because everything starts to look alike. So this is actually going on pretty well, and the brush I'm using is the number 5 Wayne Goss. It's kind of like got a flat ferrule, right? And it's also like semi-domed on top. So it's a really nice soft brush to lay down base colors on your eye. Oh, Leanne's saying that her husband is English and from Manchester. That's excellent. Oh gosh, I have to tell you this then, because this is going to be so funny. Nigel literally freaks out, and I don't know if your husband does this, Leah, but my husband freaks out whenever somebody says that, you know, is it all of England London, or just thinks that, you know, all of England is like London. Because we had a friend over the phone that made a statement similar to that, because we were talking about that Meghan Markle and Prince Harry interview and trying to like gauge each other's opinion of it. And my friend, you know, who is American as well, just let something like that slip, and oh my gosh, Nigel lost it. It was kind of hilarious actually, but I think he was actually kind of offended. But yeah, I was like, come on, man, pick and choose your battles. It's okay. Americans are gonna American, you know. So I'm just kind of blending this up a little bit so that way it's not like a sharp, like, it doesn't look like I took a marker and went on my eye. Well, that's a pretty shade. Let's see, what do I want to do with my crease? I really like building my crease up kind of like gradually. So I'm going to start with like a really big brush. This is the Sonia G Worker 1. Ooh, how dramatic do I actually want to go with this? Do you guys want like daytime freshness, or do you want me to go like all in? Because I'm willing to go all in. I'm going to give you guys a second to kind of say something while I take a look at some of the comments coming in. Oh, Carmen, yeah, I actually really love a lot of Wayne Goss's products. I bought that, oh, what was the one that he came out with the blue? I haven't used that one yet because I was actually kind of miffed that all the model photos made that blue look like it was going to be a really great eyeliner. And that it would be really friendly for maturing eyes. And it might be, but I can't figure out how to get that blue color in that palette to actually look like he got it to look. And I've tried using all kinds of like primers, and I even have this stuff that's supposed to like make it more opaque. What's it called? It's the Inglot Duraline. I used some of that with it. I couldn't get that color to look like he got it to look at all. All in. People are saying go all in. All right. Who am I to let the public down? So let's see. I think I'm gonna go with, since we're going all in, I'll make this Big Banks the lightest color, and it's shimmery. Now the shimmery colors, and that might sound like folly, like I'm setting myself up for disaster, because I'm not going instant with the mattes in here. But in my opinion, the shimmery colors from Colourpop tend to blend a little bit better. So we'll see how this goes. I'm not going to get too crazy with the shape of what I do. I'm basically just going to do a very standard smoky eye kind of routine. So I'm going to tilt my head back a little bit. Hopefully there's nothing in my nose. We're good there. Okay. And I'm going to tilt my head back just a smidge. Yeah, maybe I should start with this eye so you guys can see me over here on Facebook a little bit better. But I'm probably going to start in this outer corner. And oh, wow, that's bright. Holy moly, that's bright. That's okay. That's all right. I am not scared. We'll make it work. We'll just blend. We'll blend and blend, and then we'll blend some more. But now I'm gonna have to use that Pat McGrath stuff. I'm just laying it down for a second, and then I'll go in and blend it all. So do the same thing on this side. My eyes are not even. Like, I have a slightly droopier eyelid on one side than I do on the other. And if I relax my face, you can kind of see that I have a little bit more going on this side than I do on this one. So I want to make sure that when I'm applying my eyeshadow that I kind of take that into consideration, and I kind of want to make sure that it's still as even as possible. I know I'm giving off some like hardcore Mimi from Drew Carey vibes right now, but it will get better. Because the cool thing is that, like I mentioned earlier, if you're just joining us, like if you have to wear a mask with your makeup, that allows you to really go to town with the blending on your eye makeup. Because, I mean, you're gonna be able to just take a makeup wipe and wipe off all that fallout, make it really nice and crispy. So I'm gonna take a blending brush. Which blending brush do I want to run with? I'll go with go with these two. I have two that I really like for different things. I've got this one, which is a MAC 217. I believe it's discontinued, but they now have a vegan, synthetic, cruelty-free version that is the same shape and everything. I believe they call it the 217S. It's a great brush as well, if it's got this shape. Again, it's got kind of a flat ferrule to it, and it's slightly domed on top. So I'm actually going to set this up here. You can tell this is like an old brush because it's kind of like fluffy and flared out. And I'm just kind of gently going back and forth. I'm not really applying much pressure though, because frankly, I shouldn't have to. And then I'll show you what this other brush is for. So this is the one that I'm mainly using just in this creasy bit. I kind of do it with the brush straight on first, and then I kind of tilt up a little bit just to kind of get it to go that way. And then I tilt this way, so that way you can get that going. I'm not going to blend all the way up, obviously, and we'll still be blending the whole time through. I'm a big fan of blending and blending and blending and blending, and then blending some more, especially when you do these really dramatic colors. You can see the learning curve on Instagram in particular, because I've got all these images of all these crazy eye looks that I've been trying over the last year and a half. And some of them are just like, they're totally clown school, not gonna lie, but I love them anyway. But I've learned to blend a little bit better, and that whole learning curve is very easy to spot over on Instagram. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the same thing over here. Boop, 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 beep, 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 beep. And mainly just focusing here on that crease area. Thank you, RL Suns fan. She said that the green is really working for me. I love green eyeshadow. I'm a huge fan. I have a lot of different shades of it and a lot of different palettes of it because it's just one of my favorite things to run with. So this is the Wayne Goss 16. It is a very fluffy brush. And this is great for just blowing stuff out on the edges. Oh, here we go. Something's there. Okay. And I'm just going to do circles. And then just kind of blend this outer corner a little bit more up here. See how that softens it up? That's super pretty. This is a pretty color. My physical therapist is going to be like, why did you get all dressed up to see me today? You can see it got all up in here and everything too. That's all right, because we'll clean all that up. And now I'm going to go over to this side. Circle, circle, circle. And I love doing this. You don't have to apply a lot of pressure to it. See, the bristles are barely even budging. So you don't want to like drag this on your eye. And if you find, and this is something I had to learn the hard way, if you find that the eyeshadows that you're using don't want to blend and that you have to apply a lot of pressure or use like harsh brushes to get it to move around, try a different kind of eyeshadow, or try using a different kind of primer. And if you don't use primer, try using a primer, because it should kind of glide a little bit. Not too much, because obviously you want the eyeshadow to stick down, but there we go. Let me look down. I always like to make sure that the shape is pretty consistent on both sides. And I'm going to do that before I move on. So I'm not putting any more product on the brush. I'm basically just using what was already there. I'm getting a little bit more of that towards this edge so it matches that side. Dropping stuff everywhere. Alrighty. Oh, RL Sunspan said that I've inspired her, that she plans to wear one of her red wigs today, but forgot about the green eyeshadow. That's all right, because I mean, I think the red hair is thematic enough sometimes. I think people will know. Maybe if you have like shamrock earrings or just a green shirt, people will get it. Let me see here. Let's bring out this Pat McGrath magic before we clean all the rest of this up. Pardon. Allergy season. Let's see. So again, this is the, what do they call this? Nocturnal Nirvana Blitz Astral Quad. Crazy, crazy, crazy colors. I'm probably going to apply with my finger. And then blend it a little bit. But that way we get a lot of color. I think what I'm going to do, because one of my favorite things to do with these colors is I'm going to use the Aquamarine here. I think because it's, even though it's blue, I think this is kind of a blue based, like a blue, predominantly blue green. I think that'll go really pretty there. And then I'm going to take this color, which, what was that one called again? The VR Emerald, which is insane. I'm going to put that right on the edge and kind of do the outer V with it, because like I said, it's got kind of a black base to it. So I think it'll look really nice there. All right, so let's do this. Just kind of swirling it around here, getting a nice amount of color on here, kind of wiggling it around so that way there's not a lot of extra dust and stuff. But there typically isn't much with these Pat McGrath palettes. They tend to be pretty good. I'm gonna tilt my head back. And I don't know if they actually still make this palette for sale. But if you find it used, like on eBay or Poshmark, like if an influencer is done with it and it's like doing a clean out, you should totally pick this up because these colors are outrageous. They're so beautiful. I'm gonna put a little bit more on. You can see I'm kind of like tilting it at an angle because that helps it look a little bit less harsh. Come on, you mirror. Woo, sparkly. All right, let's do this other side now. I love sparkles. My eyes don't always love them. They get kind of red sometimes when I'm applying my makeup, so I kind of keep these Lumify drops on hand. And if you ever see images of me where my eyes are like bright, bright red, it's because I am stubbornly clinging to makeup that makes my eyes irritated because it's pretty. But I don't wear it all the time, which is how I justify it to myself. Okay. So I'm going to wait until I'm finally done laying all this stuff down before I actually go through and blend again, because once you get this sparkly stuff on your brushes, that's it. It's sparkly stuff or bust for that brush. So I'm going to take this VR Emerald now, and I'm not going to wipe my hand off too much because I'm going to use the same finger. And just going to tap some of that here on the edges and up in here. I might put some of this on a little bullet crease brush too while I'm at it, and kind of get some of that up in that crease a little bit more concentrated. So I think to really make this work well, let me see if I've got a darker color around here anywhere that isn't this Nars stuff. I don't. So I'm just going to take this darker brown color in the Nars palette with this bullet crease brush. This is a Wayne Goss 5. I really want it to be darker here in this V. I'm coming in a little bit shallow. I think that will give a little bit of contrast so that that VR Emerald really, really pops. So I'm going to do the same on the other side. Now I'm going to have to blend this because that is a mess. All right. See, the thing is, like when I do makeup, I have, and I've mentioned this in other videos, I kind of take on like a Bob Ross approach where I'm like, whatever. If I make a mistake, it might make things better. It might be better than what I had in my head. So I just kind of embrace all of it. And even if I end up looking like I went to clown college, like I mentioned in some of those Instagram images, like it's still a learning experience and it's something that other people can benefit from seeing, even if they don't like it, because then they can be like, well, I don't want to duplicate that. I'm going to avoid that, which I think sometimes is just as important as showing people perfect, awesome, brilliant, beautiful stuff all the time. Boy, I sound super modest now. I'm not even there. I'm just saying there are other influencers that can really, really do this, like a magic trick, like Robert Welsh. But even when they do videos about what not to do, I sometimes think that that is actually more helpful than when they just show you what to do. So let me put a little bit more on this side, just because I've got that little bit of extra skin there, so it's not showing up as much. All right, let me blend the crap out of that. Happy St. Patrick's Day, Barbara and Shelly. And don't worry about being late. This was a complete surprise. Like I just figured since I'm getting ready to go to physical therapy and it's St. Patrick's Day, I might as well just like have a party with everybody. So, all right, here is that VR Emerald again, and I'm going back in on top of that. Ooh, yeah, that's much better. That is so much better. Look at that. Oh my gosh, see how much brighter that looks now? We're just gonna go crazy sauce with it. I'm gonna put a little bit on top of that. Aquamarine. Oh my gosh. That is amazeballs. And I'll be sure to take some still images and put them up on Instagram and maybe in the Moon Kitty group when I get back from physio. You can see how it held up. Well, they were making me do all those crazy things, all those leg lifts and all that stuff that I don't like. All right, now I'm just using that big fluffy brush to kind of like blend it all a little bit more. And I'm gonna tilt this down a little bit. And I am wiping this off on a tissue, nothing fancy, just so that way I'm not accidentally depositing more color where I don't want it. I don't want this stuff to get all like muddy while I'm doing this part. And then I'll have to do my brows so you guys can see what that's all about. I think I should probably put something a little bit lighter down in the corner, but I'm actually going to wait until I'm done cleaning this up. And I might even wait until I am done applying my concealer, just to kind of make sure that that's like the last touch before I put my mascara on. I think that that's really the takeaway when you're trying to work around a mask of some kind, is that you want to make sure that you're kind of like being really thoughtful about the order of operations. So that way you're taking advantage of the fact that half your face is going to be covered and not working against it. I'm going to take one of these Neutrogena makeup wipes, and I'm not going to go clean the whole thing up. You can see I'm kind of going underneath the area that I would typically want to clean up, and just kind of gently doing a little swipey there. If I had a big mess over here, I would do the same, but I don't. I think I was pretty good about that. I'm gonna wipe my eyebrow off a little bit, just make sure there's no glitter in my eyebrow. And I also want this to be kind of clean over here on the edge so it matches. All right, so far so good. It still doesn't look that great, but we're getting there. You can kind of see that it's forming. Okay, so let's see, what do we want to do next? I think I want to do my brows next. The color I want to use is this Cool Cookie color, if I can find it. Cool Cookie. Do I have Cool Cookie? I thought I pulled it. I did. Haha. So we've got Cool Cookie, which is another Urban Decay product. This is the brow blade. Because I'm going to go kind of fast, I'm going to use the pencil side and not the pen side of the blade, which is kind of like a felt tip marker. That's for like precision strokes. I'm not going to do all that today. I'm just going to do a quick brow. I'm really fortunate, and I'm going to lift my brows while I do this and kind of look like a crazy crazy person, because that helps me kind of see where the actual structure of my brow is. And I try to stick to the natural structure, but you can see they don't look the same before I put my brow stuff on. And that's because a lot of the hair is there, it's just coming in white. And it looks like they don't grow the same way. So I'm actually going to overdraw this just a little bit. Very, very small amounts of pressure. And this is a very cool brown color. So you can kind of see I drew kind of like a line there. I'm going to do the same thing again. I'm going to kind of overdraw it because we're basically going to use like a shading technique here, almost like a contour for your eyebrow. I want to make sure that that is right, about as even as I can get it. And we'll clean it up. Happy little tree brows. Now I'm going to go up here to the arch. The arch is not even on both sides because, like I said, a lot of it kind of grows in white. And so I also have one brow that sits naturally just a little bit lower than the other. So what I like to do is I kind of like to look at the structure of my eye, and I try to see where the corner is, and I try to map it the best I can. Now on this side, I'm pretty fortunate because the natural arch is really like almost right where it should be. But on this side, it's not as good. Like the arch looks like it's quite a bit ahead of where it should be. So I'm actually just gonna boop, put like a little dot there as like a reference point. So I'm gonna go over here and just kind of draw that arch. And I'm not going to leave it like this. Trust me, this is like just the beginning. I'm actually going to tilt my head downward so I can make sure that I'm really getting that in there. And so that becomes really important on this side where my little reference point is. I'm going to draw down. I don't know if I've ever done like a brow tutorial, but I do my brows in a whole bunch of different ways. It just depends on my mood. But today my mood is fast, so that's why I'm doing it this way. If you want to go really, really fast and you have a really solid brow shape, brow powder or pomade can be really handy. Oh, Barbara says, I don't mind losing my hair, but losing my brows hurt. Grateful for microbleeding, aka death by 1,000 cuts. Oh, microbleeding. When microbleeding is done well, it looks so good. It looks so good. And I keep thinking about that because I'm like, what if all of my brows come in white someday? It'll look like I don't have any. But for now, I'm just making do with makeup. So, all right, now that I've got that side done, I should stick to this side. I can't walk and talk at the same time. So that's about good. And the thing is, your brows may never, ever be completely even if you draw them in perfectly. And that's why you should always consider them sisters, maybe even twins, but they're not identical, you know, and that's a little bit of asymmetry, as long as it's not jarring, is actually natural looking. So it's not that bad. So up here, I also kind of struggle. So I'm going to draw a little bit of a straighter line because you can see this comes in straight. This does not, because it's like white up here. So I'm actually drawing that a little bit more straight. It's kind of a mess. I always keep Q-tips handy. Whoop, whoop, just like that. All right. And then what I like to do is I find the sparse parts on the bottom and I cover them in a little bit thick. Just a little bit. And then the parts on the inside, that's where you have to be really careful. So small amounts of pressure. So for me, like if you press real hard on this, it's a pretty thick line. And and the Anastasia Beverly Hills eyebrow pencil, a bunch of other eyebrow pencils are like that too. And the lighter you apply the pressure. So if you don't know how to do that manually, you don't know how to adjust the pressure, if you hold this a little bit further out, it'll help you lessen the pressure, but you give up a little bit of control. But you want those really baby fine. And you know, you can use your hand like I just did to kind of like gauge how much pressure to use before you go to your eye. Because when you come up here, you want to find, like, basically you want to map your brow kind of virtually. So I kind of line it up with my tear duct a little bit. And I just kind of go up, 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 vertical strokes. I don't know how other beauty people do this, but this is how I have come to do it. I just really like the results, though. You know, results may vary, and I may change my opinion of this at some point and be like, no, I did it all wrong back then, guys. Really, you should try it this way now. Now I'm going to grab my little spoolie, if I have it handy. Spoolie, where did you go? Here we go. I like this one. I've mentioned it before. This is the Benefit spoolie. It's got spoolie and a little brow angled brush. I'm actually going to use the spoolie end to brush up. I'm just kind of doing little baby strokes. If I make a mess up here, I'll clean that up, whatever. Same thing over here. And where I use the angled part is down here. I actually, again, stroke up, kind of blend that in. And then here on the outer edge, kind of make that look softer. Now, if I were going for really precise, I would probably have used the fine tip part. But that actually takes a lot more practice to learn how to master. And it takes a long time to apply if you really want to get meticulous about it, which I don't right now. And I still have a little bit of a sparse area here, which I'll tackle in a moment. I'm going to use my fingers to kind of tap, 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 tap. Because we want like a hint of color here, like a little hint of a shadow, but we don't want like harsh lines. All right, I'm going to go back in with this here and gently, barely touch it. So I got to go over it a couple times because I'm using almost no pressure at all. I'm barely even making contact. And that's really the key. Like, build your brows. Build the brows. That way, you know, you're using that less is more. And that way you don't end up with like the dreaded block brow, which I have done in the past. There's been a learning curve here, for sure. Okay. All right, that's good enough for me for now. Because I mean, I still have to apply other stuff. Lonnie says, I just filled my eyebrows with some eyeshadow and now I feel inadequate. You know, like I do that sometimes too when I'm in a hurry. If you have a really good solid brow to work with and you don't need the extra help, like if you don't have like partially white brows or you don't have alopecia where your brows fall out, then you can really just kind of fill them in a little bit with a little bit of powder, or eyeshadow works great as a substitute for eyeshadow powder. People don't need to buy all these specialty products. Sometimes that will do the trick. But if you have an issue like I do where they don't look even right off the bat because, you know, they're growing in funky or they grow in unevenly. You know, I know people who have like an arch on one side and none on the other, who will like shave off this part of their brow or have electrolysis and then microblade the rest, or they will like fill it in with a brow pen. So it just depends on what you got to work with, I think. Lunch of champions. Alrighty, so boy, that's really stinking pretty so far. I'm pretty in love with these fancy schmancy glitter colors. Let's see here. What do we got? I want to put a little bit of something like in this part up here to like highlight my brow bone. Let me see what I've got. This will be good. This is nice and quick. This is the Highbrow by Benefit, and it's meant to go in that area. So I was just like, don't buy specialty products, but this is like literally a specialty product that's meant to go right here. So I'm just gonna do that. And I should have cleaned up my brow because you can see all those little baby hairs, whatever. And I'm just gonna use my finger for that. Doop, doop, doop. We are definitely going to be using some setting spray at some point in this look, just so my eyeshadow doesn't go all over the place. And that will also help make the brows look a little bit more defined. I'm gonna tap here because I removed a little bit of this with a makeup wipe, so I want to make sure that that's still kind of like not a harsh line. All right, so we're getting there. Let's see, what do I want to do in terms of liners? I think I want to go with the gel liner since we're going for drama. And I know that that's risky because gel liners can be super messy. But oh well. I am adventurous at heart, so we're gonna try to make it work. So whenever I go in with gel products, I use 2 brushes to do it each time. I use a fine tip brush to clean up any edges that might have gone astray, and I use some kind of eyeliner brush. I might actually use this smaller one. I think this is technically a lip brush. This is a Wayne Goss 08. And this is the Blacktrack Pro Longwear Fluid Line. This is a gel liner pot, and I believe this is MAC Cosmetics. I want to say this is MAC. It is. And you can see I've almost panned it, like I've almost gone to the bottom because I've used this so much. Great longevity with this product. So, all right, this is where things can get very real and very messy. So I kind of want to see if I have my little silicone guide thingy. I might not have that handy, and if not, I'll just do it freehand. But this can get messy. I do find that the results with gel liner are a little bit more dramatic, and they're more opaque than what you'll get with a liquid liner, but you don't get as much control sometimes. So we'll see how it goes. I'm gonna intentionally kind of aim for here as opposed to all the way out to the edge. And that's just my personal preference. I like it to look a little bit lifted. And I'm gonna start with, like, you see how there's like this line, like this invisible line that goes from here to here on my brow, from the edge of my eye all the way to my brow. I'm going to go a little bit ahead of that, just a little bit, but I'm going to use the same sort of angle. So like right around here-ish. And I might be quiet for a moment, so please forgive me if that is the case, just because I want to make sure that I am not gonna mess up all this lovely eyeshadow. I might need to put a little bit more on the brush. The drama. All right, I'm just gonna let that sit for a minute. Maybe use this to kind of make sure that's a really nice, cute little flick. All right, gonna leave that alone for a second. Because this is the toughest part. This is why I like to start with the little flick as opposed to making it look like I just went flick, because I will mess up everything doing it that way. Okay. Whew, I don't know about you, but I was like holding my breath there for a second. So let's see. I'm gonna go back in to the other side. Same principle, gonna find that invisible line. And then I am gently pulling this taut, but I'm not like yanking it. I want it to be a little bit taut so I can get that line in there. Make sure there's not a lot of gunk on this brush. Invisible line. Oh, that one was easier. All right. Like it knows people are watching. And because that angle is not completely right, I'm gonna go in there with this. Might have to clean that up a little bit. Say okay. I am not afraid of making mistakes here in a live stream, as I mentioned. I'm not even afraid of like mistakes in general. I think that they're healthy. In fact, I get annoyed when people edit out all their mistakes all the time, particularly when it comes to makeup looks. Like I want to know, like the beauty gurus struggle applying their lashes. Like I want to know that. It's relatable. Okay, so do I like this angle better than the other side? I think I do. So I'm gonna make this side match the other one. Or at least get it close. I just happy little treat it. I went with whatever it seemed like the makeup wanted to do. That is what I'm running with. I am not gonna fight it. That's close enough for me. So now's the easier part, is just taking this, and I'm not going to do a really thick liner because it's still daytime outside, and that can get very messy looking. I'm actually just going to use this. This is a brush with a flat, really pancake flat ferrule, and I'm just going to gently use that flat edge to my advantage and kind of just tap some gel liner down into there. Where it gets tricky is here on the inside of the eye. So again, kind of like a hold your breath kind of moment, I think. Okay, so this is where that smaller brush really comes in handy, because now I'm going to gently tap that into my lash line a little bit more before the gel dries, because this does dry down. La, 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 la. There we go. It's not going to be perfect, but as long as it's cute, that's all that matters to me. Now we're going to do the same thing over here on the other side. Boop, 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 boop. Get down into that lash line. Get down, get down. All right. Okay, we're making progress. We're getting there. It's starting to look like an eye look. All right. And then when this part's done, the rest of it's super easy. This is my dominant eye, so I have a really hard time closing it and doing the rest of this. I need a little bit more. And one of the cool things, I mean, it is kind of a cool thing about having aging eyes, is that everybody encourages you to you know, use really, really, really soft lines, and they're right. And so, you know, just if this is hard for you because you have a lot of fine lines here, I mean, I'm getting there, but it's still workable. I do find that the pens are very difficult to work with when you have fine lines. The gels tend to be a little bit more forgiving because they're a little bit thicker and they're a little bit less prone to feathering. But, you know, you could always just use eyeshadow, which will give you a really nice, soft, kind of smoky look. All right, this still looks a little bit, it needs more gel. All right, that's good enough for now. I don't want to mess with it too much, because if you mess with this kind of dramatic eye look too much, that's how messes happen. So how are we doing so far, everybody? Whew, we can breathe. Oh, hi, Carolina Rodriguez. And thank you, everybody who's joined us so far. Oh, okay. Whew, I think that the scary part's almost over. We've got one more hurdle to get past, and that is honestly something I should have done before I started. And that is, I gotta curl these puppies, and then I gotta put some mascara on. But I'm actually gonna let this dry down a little bit before I get anywhere close to doing that, or else all that eyeliner is just gonna go all over the place. So I'm gonna grab another one of these little makeup wipes, which I don't really advocate using these like all over your face, but they're a godsend when you're doing makeup looks, particularly when you're working with like shimmery, glittery, fallout prone colors. Now the good news is that this Pat McGrath stuff is like rock star level. It's not going to have a lot of fallout once you get it on. Get it on. But I still want to clean it up just a little bit, and we'll do that more when we put the concealer on. And if you're joining us a little bit late, you may not have heard that I'm just doing kind of like a routine that I would do with a mask. So I'm not even going to be doing this part of my face. I'm just going to be doing some concealer stuff to cover up these blemishes that I've got. And we'll be kind of focusing on the eyes and pairing it with a really pretty ginger Irish awesome red wig. Okay, and I'm gonna use the same wipe to get all this brow pencil off of my hand. Okay, good stuff, good stuff. What's next? I think maybe I'll put some setting spray on it just to be on the safe side. So this is Urban Decay All Nighter. I use multiple kinds. I've been experimenting with all kinds of makeup during lockdown because, I mean, I'm not going anywhere, so I might as well play dress up. And so my makeup collection's gotten to like intervention levels, like as in I may need one at some point. I have like too much because like yeah, I used to like be very active and go out and like go to movies a lot and stuff, and now like I just play with my face all day. You know, whatever, it's still creative, right? But I've noticed that all these setting sprays may do different things. And in the case of Urban Decay, this classic all-nighter has kind of a mattifying effect, which I'm actually more interested in than using, say, the Anastasia Beverly Hills Dewy set, which is what I use when I'm trying to go for like no makeup looks. It's just gonna be like gilding the lily. So I'm gonna relax my eyes to avoid creasing and just kind of zap it a little bit. Ugh. Try not to inhale it because double blah. And I'm just gonna kind of let that sit for a minute. I'm not gonna put on any lip stuff aside from some lip balm. So I might as well just do that now. This is the Buxom Big O. It's plumping, so I can feel like I've done something with my lips in case I do end up taking my mask off, like in the car or something. And it is moisturizing. It also is plumping. And it has no tint. but it will make my lips look pink because the same thing that makes it plump makes it look like I've been making out with Nigel for a couple hours, which is kind of cool. It makes it look kind of like a heightened version of my natural lip color, which is kind of what I'm going for anyway. So, all right. I'm going to be really careful when I curl these because I don't want to screw up my eyeliner too much. So I'm just going to gently curl them. I'm not going to go crazy with it. But just a little bit and kind of hit that edge a little bit so it's not so crimped looking. My eyelashes grow in downward and straight, so I almost always have to curl them because otherwise they look really weird. There we go. Do I need to clean that up? If I do, I'll grab a pen to do it because it's a little bit of a precision job. So learn from my mistake. Do this part before you put your eyeliner on. I'm just going to take this this eyeliner pen. This is just a stylo pen. Stay All Day waterproof liquid eyeliner in intense black. I just filled in the little bit that came off. All right, and then what mascara are we going to use? I'm going to use the same one I use all the time. This is not a waterproof mascara, but it is good for sensitive eyes. This is Clinique High Impact Mascara. It's like almost at the point where I need to replace it, but not quite, which means it's perfect because it's a little bit thicker than it needs to be, or as it is when you first get it. And wiggle, 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 wiggle. Again, I'm kind of like holding my breath a little bit, trying not to like destroy everything I just did. Works for me. All right. Moving on to the other eye. And I've got a tissue here and I'm taking the tip of this and just going to like get the clumpy bit that usually accumulates at the end off. Because I don't want that to make a mess. Shaky, shaky, shake. Wiggle, wiggle. Doing the happy wand dance. I don't know if you guys ever watch Bob's Burgers, but I swear I think that Tina and Linda are like my spirit animals. I'm basically like a hybrid between the two. Like I make up songs constantly, and I swear that Tina is a toaster. She has to be on the spectrum because she acts like it. And I love how boy crazy she is. That's so me when I was that age. Yes, dear?
Your appointment, my treasure.
Oh, yeah, I'll be there in a moment. I'm almost done. As I mentioned, I have an amazing husband. Yeah, my physical therapy appointment's actually at 3, so I gotta hurry. The stakes could not be higher. All right, let's see. It's literally like just down the road from me though. And I'm not gonna go back into my mascara to do these lower lashes. I'm just gonna hit that there. And I got my Q-tip handy to kind of get any bit there that's like not cooperating. All right, so it's not perfect, but I still think it looks pretty rad. I'm gonna go ahead and slap on some concealer now. Got a little bit of glitter there. Mainly it's just because of this bad boy. I'm not gonna bother with any of the stuff down here. I'm gonna let that blurring primer do most of the work, and that way I don't end up with a bunch of makeup on my mask. I'm really just gonna focus on that zit as opposed to the bags under my eyes because we will carry all of that over with the sponge. And maybe put a little bit up here just so that's really nice and crisp looking. I've got a little baby sponge. And we're gonna go up here. By the way, this is the Dior Forever Skin Correct, which is a really nice concealer for under the eyes. It's not super opaque. Like I would not use Shape Tape under here. And because the mask is going to sit like literally here, I'm not so focused on the under eye bags quite as much. I am going to, however, look like a St. Paddy's Christmas tree because the mask I'm going to be wearing is red. But it'll be fine. I gotta clean up that little thingy in my corner of my eye. I got a little bit of eyeliner that kind of transferred down here. There we go. Q-tips are such a godsend when it comes to dramatic eye makeup looks. And these little sponges, by the way, are so handy for this kind of thing. And I'm really just trying to cover up some of that redness because the mask itself is red. So it will really, really, really stand out. I mean, I don't, it's either this or like a N95 construction style mask, which I don't want to wear on St. Patrick's Day. So I'm going to tap that sucker for just a second and let that sit. I'm going to go up here. And this is almost like underpainting in a way because I am going to apply some tinted moisturizer that has a little bit of sunscreen in it up on top here. I'm just going to put it on my hand since I'm in a hurry. This is the Nars. It is the Pure Radiant Tinted Moisturizer Broad Spectrum SPF 30, which I always put up here. And I usually put it up here even when I'm not doing the rest of my makeup, just because. And this is in the color Finland, which is their lightest color, which is not really that light. Not super inclusive, I would say, because, you know, if you're really pale, this is going to be way too warm and way too, well, dark. But it works for me, and it is kind of like sheer. I'm just using the same sponge that I used for the concealer. And I'm not going to go all the way down my nose because that's just going to get all over my mask. So I'm just going to kind of tap it in here and use my finger just to get some SPF action on any parts that are going to be exposed. But it won't look super crazy if I do take the mask off, like in my car or something like that. And now I'm going to kind of go in with this. So it's getting a little bit of that moisturizer in there too. Probably won't be covered completely, but the mask itself should cover most of it. And I'm not going to use powder because that powder is basically going to go all over the place. If I put it down here, it'll get all over the inside of the mask. And, you know, I actually don't mind the little bit of very mild sheen that comes from this tinted moisturizer. I actually think that's quite becoming. So this is like the extent of it for me. I'm not going to apply blusher. I'm not going to do any of that stuff. Maybe just kind of a little bit so that way my cheeks turn a little bit rosy, but that's the end of that. I'm going to let my eyes do most of the work, and I'm going to splash it with just a little bit more of the setting spray. Helps if I don't like ingest it. Let's throw this hair on. Do I have a grip cap handy? I may not. Give me a sec. I think it might be in the bathroom. Grip cap, grip cap. Grip cap, grip cap. It's not. I'll grab it from downstairs whenever I get ready to walk out the door. But just to show you like proof of concept. I still want to use a grip cap or a wig cap of some kind though, because I need to restrain my hair. I'm kind of letting it grow out a little bit, just to see what the status of my bio hair is these days. I'm sure you guys can understand. But yeah, here is, RLS, RL Suns fan says you wear a grip cap or a band. I usually wear the grip cap itself. I tend to really think that makes it comfortable because I have thinning all over the place. It's not just on the top of my head, unfortunately. I do have an intact hairline, which is both a blessing and a curse because, you know, it means that all of this likes to poke through all the time. And I have remembered, because I mean, it's good for me to touch base with my own bio hair once in a while because it helps me put myself in my customer's shoes a little bit better because a lot of them are very reluctant to give up their bio hair. And I understand because I was that way for like a decade as well. It's a process for sure. But the issue is that the more bio hair you have, the more funny, weird sensations you can have, the more sensitive you can be to the way your wig is fitting. And the more your wig will slip and slide around. So it's good for me to remember that, because then if I need to like help people with that, I have, you know, a refresher on my own experiences with it. Then I can relay that to my staff, to relay to other people, and relay it to people here on social media. So that's it. This is my St. Patrick's Day look. I got my Celtic necklace here that Nigel repaired for me. And basically ready to rock and roll. This is our Mirabella in Tahitian Sunset, which is perfect for St. Patrick's Day. The pre-order for this, as I mentioned earlier in this live stream, has not launched yet. So we're waiting basically for most of the people who wanted the Anyas to get their pre-orders in, and then we'll get the Mirabella launched. And that's simply because we're coordinating. I'm mainly the one who's coordinating a lot of that, but I have a couple team members who are helping me too. And we don't want to get like overwhelmed to the point where we make a bunch of mistakes. So we're basically just trying to take this a little bit at a time, so that way we make sure that we can be as hands-on notifying people about the status of their pre-orders as possible, which is easier to do if we like trickle them out. So thank you for joining me. I hope that you enjoyed this. Get ready for me. I'm going to slap my mask on, head downstairs, and then go to physical therapy. And we'll see if he says anything about this look while he's making me do squats and stuff and lunges and a whole bunch of stuff I can't stand doing. So happy St. Patrick's Day, everybody. Thank you for watching. I love you guys, and I hope that you have a lucky day and have a lot of fun out there, everybody. Bye. All right. And now